What's up, YouTube? Pink Reaper here with a little Happy New Year's video. This was not something I intended to record. Obviously, I haven't uploaded anything Pokemon, with the exception of the Let's Play, I guess, in a while, at least not in terms of competitive, but I have still been playing. I just kind of play on my off time. I'll play like 4 or 5 matches here and there. And yesterday I had a really good match. I'm still really low in the ladder because, like I said, I haven't been playing much. I was higher in the old OU ladder before it dropped back to suspect and dropped me down to 1,000. I was at like 15 something. Now I'm all the way down to like the 1300s. So I haven't been playing the best opponents, but I got one here where honestly my opponent wasn't that great, but you'll understand here in a second. So right off the bat, my opponent is running one of the... I swear to God, I saw this team, and the first thing that went through my head is, I don't even want to play this match. Like, my opponent's team is so hard counter to my team. It's going to take... Like, this is a match that's clearly going to take a ton of work in order to win. But the other thing that stood out in my mind is that Mega Scissor can roll this team. Like, unquestionably can roll this team. Even if it ends up burnt by that Slowbro, as long as I can get to +6. But I also have to be able to get Heatran out of the game. If I cannot kill Heatran, Scissor can't sweep, and that's really my only option for winning in this game. With the exception of my opponent being super, super bad, because he has a counter for every single one of my Pokemon on his team. Some of them have multiple counters. The only one that doesn't, obviously, is Scissor. Scissor has the one counter in Heatran. The other thing I had to worry about was if Mega Venusaur was running HP Fire. But we'll get into that later. So right off the bat, I lead with Garchomp. He leads with Heatran. I know he's going to switch out to Slowbro. Either Slowbro or Skarmory. I was expecting Skarmory, believe it or not, but I went for the Earthquake just in case, and I got the hit, which made me happy. This was really important here. I was really hoping I'd be able to KO this Slowbro with this knockoff, but I didn't get it. It left him at 7%, and he healed it off, which I was so angry. I'm going to need to redo my EVs on that Conkeldurr, because if I had killed that Slowbro, Conkeldurr could have been a much more useful Pokemon in this particular game, but for right now it's not. So I switch out to Zapdos on the expected heal, and then I double switch into Scissor since I know he's going to go to Chansey, and then I just go for the free Mega and the knockoff in case he goes to Skarmory, but instead he goes to Venusaur, and here's where I first start to assume he doesn't have HP Fire, because he uses Leech Seed against the Scissor. Here I expected... I want to go back to that real quick. I can't go back. Go to turn... What was that? Go to turn 8. Right here, I expected to switch into Heatran, but just in case it was a Balloon Tran, I went for the Flash Cannon, because I wanted to be certain it would be grounded the next time it came in. Obviously, it wasn't Balloon Tran, and if I had known that, I would have definitely gone for the HP ground. But just in case, generally if I see a Heatran, when I bring out mine, I throw out Flash Cannon. The other reason is a lot of players have been assuming that if my Heatran is running Lava Plume plus Flash Cannon, and especially because I haven't thrown up Stealth Rocks with Garchomp yet, they might think I'm not running Earth Power. They might think I'm running Double Stab plus Roar and Stealth Rocks, because on most teams Heatran is the Stealth Rocker. So obviously I just went for the normal, for a really, whatever attack right there. Did nothing. That's clearly a Sassy Tran. It's got max special He switches out to Chansey. I switch out to Slowbro, which was, I mean, I get Toxic Tier, but it's not a big deal because I'm actually now running Life Orb Slowbro. So my Slowbro isn't meant to stay in for very long anymore. It's meant to just attack a couple times and switch out. I go to Conkeldurr on the expected soft boil to try and get a knockoff, but I know he's going to switch. What I'm actually hoping for is not. Oh yeah, by the way, I switched to Garchomp here. I'm expecting an Ice Beam, which I'd survive, but he actually goes for Toxic, which is awesome because now I get my Stealth Rocks up and Garchomp is still alive. Now here's the other thing. At this point, I've decided Stealth Rocks is the most important thing on my team. I need him to not get Stealth Rocks up, which means I cannot let his Skarmory come in for free. And I also cannot let him keep Stealth Rocks off his side of the field, because his Dragonite is clearly what's going to be his, like, cleaner. He needs his Dragonite to be at full health to set up. And then he also needs his Dragonite... he needs his Dragonite at full health to set up so he can set up a free Dragon Dance so he can be in multiscale, and he also needs Stealth Rocks to be off the field so that he's not constantly taking damage every time he switches. The fact that he has Soft Boiled on Chansey he has Soft Boiled, Toxic, and Seismic Tox, which makes me assume it probably doesn't have Wish. I was assuming it actually probably had Aromatherapy. And because of that, he can't heal his other Pokemon. So like, Venusaur constantly switching into Stealth Rocks, Heatran constantly switching into Stealth Rocks, especially with Venusaur and Skarmory. Putting them at low health will force them to waste a turn using Synthesis or Roost. And this is really important for me. So from this point on, I don't want anything other than Stealth Rocks on the field. So here comes Chansey. I expected the Chansey. I actually went for the Skull just to get a free burn, just to get a little extra damage, to try and force like an Aromatherapy or something like that, to force it to use a turn it doesn't want to use. He goes to Skarmory here, and I go to Scissor. Now at this point, I know he's going to Defog, which is exactly what I want, because what I want him to do is waste a turn while I knock off his item. Now at this point, he basically has to Whirlwind me out or he's going to die. And he can't have that Skarmory die. It's really important for his team. Because it's one of the two things that reasonably checks Scissor, and it's the only thing that can keep rocks off the field. So I force out his Skarmory, bring in the Zapdos, and then it gives me another chance to bring in Garchomp. So again, I'm going to throw up rocks right here. He goes to Venusaur for reasons that are beyond me. Now, this is the dumb thing. I didn't really have a Pokemon I wanted to switch in because I was still afraid Venusaur might have, like, Earthquake or something. I'm going to say this now. I never figure out what Venusaur's fourth move is. But if he's Leech Seeding me, he doesn't have HP Ice. If he's Leech Seeding Scissor, he doesn't have HP Fire. Like, I don't know. He also didn't appear to have, Sleep Powder for some reason, which was odd to me. So I do the double switch on the into Heatran, expecting his Skarmory again just to scare it out so it can't defog. At this point, too, right here, I'm just sort of like, I'm trying to force a burn onto to Chansey to sort of like waste an extra turn, but I never get it. Look at him. I've hit Chansey with one Scald and I think 4 Lava Plumes at this point, and I never get the burn. It's the most annoying thing to me, like, in general. I switch out to Mega Scissor here. This is kind of... Okay, so this is an odd thing that happens here. So, I knock off. He loses his Eviolite, so now his Chansey is just completely useless. But I don't know why he kept Chansey in here, because it's like, well, clearly I'm going to knock off... I'm going to use knockoff on Chansey. Like, you should be... like, everyone who runs Chansey should be expecting that. But he lets it happen. And that just struck me as weird at the time. I'm like, okay, your Chansey going to die. Your Chansey can't do anything to Scissor. You're clearly not running Flamethrower. Even if you were, it wouldn't matter. But he uses Healing Wish. The odd thing is... I guess it's not as odd. I mean, it makes sense to use it on Skarmory. Again, like I said, Skarmory is really important to keep those Stealth Rocks off the field, which he absolutely needs for Dragonite. And the other thing is, it's one of the best answers to Scissor because it can actually switch in on, like, you know, a +2 knockoff, especially now that it doesn't have an item. Heatran actually can't. Heatran will lose a ton of HP if it switches in on that. So he defogs. But the thing that struck me as odd here is that he didn't go for the Stealth Rocks, which is really what he should have done. Because I actually don't have a defogger. At that point, I'd sort of have to force him to defog in order to get Stealth Rocks off the field. But he goes to Scissor. He throws up the Leech Seed, I think, to just try and keep his Skarmory alive. But at +4 at this point, like, he's gonna have a lot of trouble here. So I just roost off the damage here. He Whirlwinds me out. I was expecting this. I'm actually okay with him using Whirlwind on my Scissor because, with the exception of Conkeldurr and Garchomp, I actually, like, every single one of my Pokemon can one-hit, like, the other things that I can come into, Heatran, Zapdos, and Slowbro can all one-hit KO Skarmory. Slowbro is running Fire Blast. A Life Orb Fire Blast will kill Skarmory. Now here's the thing that annoyed me. Like, this was a misclick. So I bring in Slowbro to get Leech Seeded, basically, because I know he's gonna Leech Seed, and then the intention I made was to switch out. I was going to switch out to Heatran. Because he doesn't have a good answer to Heatran anymore. If he brings in Slowbro, I can burn it, or hopefully it can get burned, and that can really ruin it. But I accidentally clicked Scald, which was right above Heatran, and I'm like, well, whatever. I hit cancel, I hit click Heatran. Like, a minute and a half goes by, and then, oh yeah, it's cool. No, I used Scald anyway. And I didn't even get the burn. Like, if I'd at least gotten the burn, that would have been worth it. But no, I got nothing out of that. That was just a complete loss for me. I was so pissed off at that point. It's not, like, Slowbro was not a Pokemon I wanted to sacrifice. If I was going to lose a Pokemon, I would have preferred it to be, like, Conkeldurr. Because if I can get rid of his Slowbro, now that he doesn't have Chansey especially, my Slowbro can deal tons of damage to his entire team. So he Whirlwinds right away, expecting me to set up with my Scissor, which is great for me because I wanted him to, like, not set, like, I wanted to get my stealth, the Leech Seed off my Scissor, and it's here that I realize he doesn't have Stealth Rocks on his Skarmory. He actually has it on his Heatran, which means he's going to want to get Heatran in, and he's been having a ton of trouble with it. So, obviously, he's going to switch in the Heatran on my... Max is online. On my Heatran. So, it's like, oh, free Earth Power. And at that point, he's just like, oh, shit, I need to not be in here. So, in comes Slowbro. I throw out Conkeldonk just to sort of, like, die. But I decide that's not what I want. I expect the Psyshock. I get the Psyshock. Conkeldurr could have been, like, that would have just been too free for him. Like, Conkeldurr wasn't even going to do anything. I prefer if my Pokemon's going to die to at least get a move off when I do it. Like, get some actual damage in on it. So I throw up Stealth Rocks one more time. And now this is really important. His Skarmory at this point is at very low HP. Not very low, it's at 60%. But it doesn't have leftovers, and if it switches in, it's going to drop under 50%. So if I can get to +4, I can one-hit KO it with Knockoff. And this is where he makes the biggest mistake. He stays in on Scissor. At this point, I've won. He can't... I knock off just in case he switches to Scissor or Heatran. He doesn't. He's throwing out Giga Drains on Scissor, which is very weird to me, which means whatever his fourth move is completely useless. It might... Thinking back on it, it might actually be Toxic. Because 3 of my Pokemon were already Toxic, which means he couldn't use it on them. 2 of my Pokemon were immune to it, and I never left Zapdos in to find out. So, at this point, I'm just sort of, like, setting up. He can't really do anything. If he had Synthesis right here, it would have been at least kind of a bummer. It would have meant I had to get to, I would have had to set up one more time, but he didn't, so I just get the 2-hit KO. If he had Synthesis, I would have just set myself up for one more Swords Dance and been able to get through it anyway. The critical hit there was unnecessary. I would have dealt enough damage to kill it. This one I wasn't as certain about, but I was pretty certain at +4 I could do that 20% with Bullet Punch, and I do. Obviously, Slowbro is going to get one hit KO'd by knockoff, and then without multi-scale, Dragonite can't possibly survive a +4 Bullet Punch either. So this was just a really good game. It was a game I had to do a ton of work to actually win. It's one of the games I actually had to really play very hard in order to get my win because honestly, his team was just like better equipped than mine was for this battle, or not better equipped, but it just sort of like had too many counters to my own team. The 4-0 that you see there is kind of misleading. Conkeldurr was made completely useless pretty early into the game because Conkeldurr wasn't going to do much to anything other than Chansey and Heatran, and obviously Chansey sacrificed itself, so not much going on there. And Zapdos was another one where it wasn't going to be completely useful. It was great to scare off Slowbro and Skarmory, but outside of that, I wasn't going to be doing much with that. My opponent did make some really odd choices. I actually don't think his choice to Healing Wish his Skarmory was the oddest choice. He had good answers to my special attackers beyond that. His Slowbro could answer my Slowbro since his was bulky and mine was not. His Heatran could answer my Skarmory very easily, as could his Venusaur, and his Slowbro could also answer my Heatran really well. As could his Dragonite in theory, but it never came out. His Skarmory was really important. Like I said, he wanted to have those rocks off the field. He just never got a chance to like I never let him. Anytime he got it off, I just put it right back on. Probably the odder choice was just spamming Giga Drain against my Scizor. But honestly, that late into the game, and especially once I had gotten that Earth Power on that Heatran, at +4, like he was screwed anyway. The scrolling back up here, damn, 61 turns. What a long duel. Scrolling back up here, the biggest thing that probably happened was actually the miss on that Leech Seed, which got me the one free Swords Dance, because I needed at least two. If he had gotten this Leech Seed off turn 1, while I set up the first Swords Dance, he might have been able to switch in Skarmory on the second one and get enough health back from Leech Seed to allow him to Whirlwind me out, and this battle would have taken quite a bit longer. But because it missed, I got it up for free, and at that point he couldn't really switch into Skarmory safely. If he had just went for the raw switch, his Skarmory wouldn't have had enough HP to survive anyway, and at that point I would have just won. Like I said, I was the victor of this battle the second my Scizor got to +4 like that. The only other thing he could have hoped for is maybe to switch in Heatran on a predicted Roost. Like if he had predicted one of my Roosts properly, he might have been able to bring in Heatran, get some life back from Leech Seed, and then survive the Bullet Punch. I'm not sure. He definitely didn't make the right decision. I had this conversation already. He didn't make the right decision, but he didn't have a lot of good decisions at that. Like most of his choices would have been wrong, and it was mostly just because of that Leech Seed miss. But anyway, this is a really long video. This is a really long duel. The actual duel took like 15-20 minutes as well because it was very laggy. It was so laggy that obviously the back button did not work. Or not the back button, the cancel button, which screwed me over on my Slowbro. There was something else too where I accidentally switched to the wrong Pokemon earlier, but it ended up working out for me, so I didn't really care. But anyways, Happy New Year's, guys. I hope you enjoyed the battle. I don't know if I'll be uploading more Pokemon battles. Like I said, I just sort of I haven't been recording them, but I have been playing. And be looking out probably starting next week for my next Let's Play. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Pink Reaper signing out. Whoa.